What have we here? Tesla begins China's Cybertruck tour in 8 cities. Is this a relatively neutral, perhaps even a positive piece on Tesla on CNBC? Let's find out.
Tesla begins its Cybertruck tour in China, and it's been getting a lot of social media buzz there ahead of this trip. Our Eunice Yoon joins us live from Beijing with more on what's at stake for Tesla. Hi, Eunice.
Hey, Mike. Well, the Cybertruck is on display at the Tesla store behind me. This weekend, the company started showcasing the futuristic new vehicle in 8 Chinese cities, including here in Beijing. Now, Tesla continues to be a fan favorite among EV drivers here, despite the fierce competition by local brands.
This, of course, is true, and it's also very important. At this point, Tesla actually beating local home team players in China. A stunning accomplishment. What's also super interesting is, as far as I'm aware, the Cybertruck in its current form is unlikely to be road legal in most, if not all, parts of China, at least in populous cities. If that's the case, there are probably only 2 potential reasons Tesla's doing this. 1, because it generates attention, and it's also a lot cheaper than advertising. And or 2, just to test interest. If enough consumers are interested in Cybertruck and begin asking questions, when can I buy it here? This may incentivize Tesla to make a redesigned, slightly more compact, localized version of Cybertruck that will be suitable and road legal in China and possibly other parts of the world as well. Tesla has already flagged that this is a possibility in the future. Either way, the very fact that this is being covered on CNBC and the fact that Cybertruck is creating such a buzz just really emphasizes and underscores that this thing is a billboard on wheels. What's also interesting is to see how Chinese consumers react to this. After all, when most people think pickup trucks and trucks in general, it's probably the US automotive market, especially rural areas, that first come to mind as opposed to major cities in China like Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen. I think you get the point.
The criticisms, though, of Tesla is that it doesn't refresh its models quickly enough, especially when compared to some of its Chinese rivals.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, dude. This is so hard. This is not valid criticism. Tesla just doesn't play by the typical automotive rules, which is 1 new model version per year. This is the 2022 version, the 23 version, the 24 version. What's different? Some more cup holders, slightly higher resolution screen, a different number on the badge. Instead, Tesla continuously improves, upgrades, and incrementally adds features, functionality, new technology to their vehicles, and occasionally also does major refreshes, which we've seen. The first major refresh of Model 3 began deliveries in China a few months ago. It's now available in the United States. And between when Model 3 first launched and the fully refreshed, including refreshed exterior version of the Model 3, the vehicle completely changed between now and then. But it did so incrementally and constantly. Now, are there any potential data points that might be able to back up my claims that Tesla is continuously improving their products consistently, and it's pretty ridiculous to suggest that they're not refreshing their vehicles soon enough, often enough, frequent enough? Or, more to the point, like everybody else does once per year, every year? Obviously, Tesla doing it different is doing it wrong, but is there any data we could possibly look at to prove or disprove this? Let's see. Here's a good one. If Tesla had a vehicle on the market that has not yet had a major refresh, that had been selling for a number of years, and in the most recent year available, was the best-selling vehicle on planet Earth, would that be an indication that the, quote, criticism that Tesla doesn't refresh their vehicles the same way everyone else does, once per year, would that be an indication that criticism isn't particularly valid if Tesla, with their existing vehicle, the Model Y, had not yet done a major refresh for technically years, plural years, yet it was the best-selling vehicle on Earth last year because it was? I rest my case, Your Honor. This is another one of those examples of, hey Tesla, you're doing it different, therefore it must be wrong. Hey Tesla, you're doing it wrong, don't you understand? You've got to do it like everybody else does. 1 refresh per year, change the name. Add some new features only once per year, instead of constantly. We can lump this invalid criticism into the same pile of trash as the comments from people saying that Tesla needs trillions of different variations of vehicle in every different platform because everybody else has 24 different SUVs. In the case of Tesla, different rarely, if ever, equates to wrong. In fact, things that Tesla does differently, almost universally, are better. But people have a hard time digesting this because it's different. I mean, we're looking at a classic fucking example of that on screen now. Can you imagine a traditional automotive company coming up with something that looks like this, the Cybertruck? No chance. Hey Tesla, you're doing it wrong. Don't you understand? Consumers don't want a weird looking pickup truck. You need to make a conventional one. All right, let's move on.
Now, for this Cybertruck, Tesla has not officially announced that the Cybertruck would come here to China. In fact, Elon Musk has gone on record as to say...
So, just wanted to pause here because this is rather telling. Look at this thing. It's a fucking celebrity. The Cybertruck in this showroom in China, surrounded by consumers, taking photographs to share with their friends, family, to post on social media. It's an A-list celebrity. And also, judging by this shot, generally speaking, quite the sausage magnet. I wonder how much Tesla needed to pay in advertising to reach these consumers. Oh, wait, nothing.
Say that it's going to be difficult. And one of the issues has been the regulatory environment, especially around trucks. But one point that was really interesting and picked up upon by a lot of the fans is that the name of the Cybertruck in Chinese avoids the word truck. So that's seen as a way for Tesla perhaps to eventually launch the Cybertruck here.
What? Oh dear. They can't possibly be suggesting that if this vehicle doesn't have the equivalent of the word truck in its name, that might be a way to launch the... What? The reasons, as I understand them at this point in time, that the current version of the Cybertruck available in the US is not suitable for China has nothing to do with its fucking name, but in fact its form, mass, dimensions, etc.
Guys?
Eunice, I wonder, aside from just sort of the names and what the implications are, I mean, in the U.S., of course, pickup truck's the most popular type of vehicle. What's the case in China in terms of that ready kind of appetite for something that, you know, even vaguely looks like a pickup truck?
Now, if anyone's curious, there is actually a decent, not huge, but decent market for pickup trucks in China. It's a developing nation. There's a lot of construction going on. There are a lot of actual work trucks doing work in China. As a percentage of the total market, not very many, but in absolute numbers, there's definitely an opportunity there, and an opportunity that's growing. In 2020, 414,000 pickup trucks were sold in China versus 304,000 in 2015, so substantial increases. A couple of years later, 2023, not even the full year, just the first 11 months, 466,000 units. So the market size at the moment is roughly 500,000 units per year. Now, might not sound like a huge number, but if Tesla would have nabbed 20% of that opportunity, 100,000 units a year, not bad, and I really mean not bad, with a $50,000 ASP, that'd be $5 billion, with a B, billion dollars in revenue, just from a tiny slice, a 20% share of the Chinese pickup truck market. Now, here's an interesting idea. Given the lower labor costs in China, strong work ethic, and loads of extremely competent, very hardworking people, and the fact that there will need to be a, quote, downsized version of Cybertruck if it's going to be road legal in most other places in the world besides the US, what are the odds that Tesla would be considering possibly making a factory to produce Cybertruck in or close to China to be the main export hub outside of the US for the smaller, slightly scaled down version of Cybertruck that would be more suitable for China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Australia, Europe, name your area that isn't the US. Something to consider.
Right. Well, it's interesting because here you really can't get a pickup truck, or if you do, you're not able to drive into the city, like into some of the kind of more packed areas. So there are a lot of regulations around it. And that's why it's interesting that in the name, people love to see these big cars. They love driving them. That's what they were talking about, is that everyone's impressed by the size. They love the look. They were talking about how it looks like an armored vehicle. People loved it. But the regulations are such that they don't allow what would be considered a pickup truck into the kind of more packed parts of the city. So
this is true, and for fairly obvious reasons. Extremely high density areas, the streets aren't built for it, will cause insane congestion. It'd just be an absolute nightmare. However, as we saw, there is still a market for pickup trucks in China. It's just that you can't really drive them in major cities. But, as I mentioned earlier, if Tesla captures just 20% of the existing market for pickup trucks in China, which is artificially suppressed due to the fact that you can't drive them in major cities, still could be 100,000 units a year. There's also the possibility that Tesla could take the aesthetic of Cybertruck and do a dramatically scaled down version that has the same aesthetic that is suitable and legal to drive in urban areas in China, maybe even a variation of a next-gen vehicle. They definitely seem to be testing the waters here in terms of sentiment and interest from Chinese consumers.
So the fact that it was called an urban traveling wagon, maybe not so catchy, but maybe it could get you around some of the regulations.
Yeah, I don't think the regulators are going to be that easily fooled. This is China, not the United States. Wait, did I say that? How rude. It's true, though. But you never know.
Red after missing on the top and bottom lines and saying their deliveries for 2024 will be at a slower rate than 2023. Joining us now, Ark Invest's Tasha Keeney and former Tesla board member Steve Wesley. Good afternoon to you both. It's good to have you guys here to break this down. Tasha, I'm going to start with you because it does feel like a mixed bag here. We had the misses on the top and bottom lines. We had the lack of details in that 2024 guidance, just the warning essentially that it's going to be slower in terms of deliveries. But the flip side of that is the auto gross margins, excluding credits at 17.1% was better than expected and represented a sequential increase. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I do think, it's important to note gross margins, automotive gross margins, ex credits did tick up. And I'd say, broadly, the picture here is the future is really electric vehicles, right? We already know that. Other traditional auto manufacturers are actually cutting back on their electric vehicle plans and programs.
Decisions that will totally, definitely, absolutely age well. Not.
Over the next 5 years. And they're not as profitable on those platforms as Tesla is because Tesla's still the leader in EVs. I'll also say that for the future, we're very excited that Tesla is investing in AI, that they're focusing on the next generation vehicle platform, because we think that robo-taxis, that autonomous driving is completely going to change Tesla's business model. I think that could push overall gross margins up to north of 50% over the next 5 years. And I'm looking.
If this does occur on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of how embarrassed the people who were obsessively focused on Tesla's short-term gross automotive margins, the amount of shame and embarrassment they're going to experience on the scale of 1 to 10 is probably going to be about 100 if they have any shame in the first place. Just to be clear, Tasha, based on her research at Ark Invest, expects a few years from now, Tesla's gross margins as a business could exceed 50%. Meanwhile, today, analysts and supposed investors crying, whining, freaking out and panicking because Tesla's gross automotive margins might be in the high teens for a while. Way to miss the forest for the trees.
Okay. And I've heard you talk about that as well. We've heard him talk about that. Steve, I want to get your thoughts on some of the commentary we've seen in this release actually about AI. And specifically, it says here that while they continue to execute on innovations to reduce the cost of manufacturing and operations over time, they do expect hardware-related profits to be accompanied by an acceleration of AI, software, and fleet-based profits. Is this something we've been hearing along the way, too, or does this represent a ramp up in the rhetoric on AI?
Well, I think it's just part of Tesla's story. And look, Q4 results are a tale of two cities. Tesla posted record $25.7 billion in Q4 revenue. It's going to be roughly $97 billion for the year, and they sold 1.8 million cars. That's whopping 55% of the U.S. auto market. That's not a bad year. But the big picture is growth has slowed from 51% year over year last year, 19% year over year this year. So the big story is BYD is coming on quickly. They will likely pass Tesla next year as the dominant EV seller in the world. So right now, Tesla is still number one, but they're going to have to find a higher gear to stay on top. The AI story is part of bringing costs down. The robo story is another part. And there's also Tesla's rapidly growing energy division. So these are all part of the picture that investors are going to have to keep an eye on. But get ready to see the big smackdown, Tesla versus BYD for global dominance in the EV sector.
Okay, and so Tasha, I guess the question for investors is, in 2024, what kind of a multiple does Tesla deserve? Because it's still very richly valued for right now. And I mean, the robo-taxi thing, I'm not buying it for any time soon. I'm not even sure that...
He is not alone. I think the majority of people are not buying it. Of course, assuming it does happen, they will eventually buy it after the fact for significantly more than they could have been buying it now. You get it? Because, yeah, I'm not going to explain that. I mean, again, as Tasha mentioned, based on her research, Tesla could have 50+% gross margins a few years from now on the back of autonomy. If that were to occur, it's extremely likely that Tesla's valuation will be many times what it is today as I record this. Not a few percent higher, not tens of percent higher, many times. I personally believe it is just a matter of time until Tesla has solved autonomy and does deploy their first robo-taxis, which are already on roads, but I mean via a software update. And just a little bit of context on screen now. It's been more than 3 years, a very volatile and bumpy 3 years, admittedly, since Tesla first approached its current levels. And funnily enough, more than 3 years after Tesla was first split adjusted around $195 per share, it's Currently, as I record this, $190 per share. Down slightly from where it was about 3 years and 2 months ago, having gone nowhere for close to 1,169 almost days. I'm sure it's nothing. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that maybe the opinion of the anchor here on CNBS might be pretty common among so-called investors as it relates to Tesla and autonomy, doubting the future quite strongly.
That means people buy more Teslas if they can just rent them, and if that's actually good for the company overall. But how do you calculate what kind of valuation it deserves right now, given a lot of other companies are pulling back their revenue expectations and getting dinged?
So first, I'll say on robotaxis, I mean, I'd encourage everyone to look at the videos online that are coming out of FSD, full self-driving version 12. It's amazing.
I agree with Tasha, but I do need to add a caveat. It's actually really important to, I don't know how to say this and not be obnoxious, so I just will say it and be obnoxious. You need a certain level of cognitive capabilities, intellect perhaps. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's certainly not below average to understand what you're seeing and the implications. You can't just look at the tip of the iceberg. You've got to look under the surface and understand, how is this happening? Haven't I seen something like this from Cruise or Waymo? Wait, is there a difference? Oh, there is a difference. What's different? How's it different? If you have sufficient cognitive faculties and a decent enough understanding of computer vision and a generalized solution that Tesla's solving for versus the very brittle, glorified party tricks from the likes of Cruise and Waymo using LiDAR, pre-mapping in HD, totally different tech. You see this, you see V12, you understand it was trained without 300,000 lines of code, no heuristics, just purely end-to-end video based on good human drivers. You see its capabilities and go, holy fuck! But it's not enough to just watch the videos. You do actually need to understand what's going on. Otherwise, you go, I've already seen that, bro. Cruise and Waymo have been doing that for 2 years. You're shit. What autonomy? I don't believe it.
It drives like a human. People are doing full drives, zero interventions. So the fact of the matter is, robotaxis are already possible today, just in, select areas. I'm not saying it works everywhere, right? But we have evidence that it's possible. We see other companies like Waymo also telling us that it's possible. But Tesla itself has great technology. And when we think of scale and, the number of cars that they're producing, to put this in perspective, the data advantage that Tesla has is orders of magnitude higher than other players. Tesla is collecting or is able to look at data from more than 2 million miles per day of customers driving in full self-driving mode. That compares with other players like Waymo that, they might have collected single-digit millions in the lifetime of the project. So again, I think robotaxis are already here. Don't miss this opportunity.
I mean, Tasha's really banging the drum here. This is a serious warning. In essence, don't sleep on the robotaxi opportunity. Make fucking sure you've thought about it. You've tried to understand it. Even if you don't agree, draw your own conclusions, but at least spend the time thinking about it. And again, obviously, judging by Tesla stock having gone essentially nowhere for the last 3+ years, I don't think investors, generally speaking, are appreciating what's going on here, particularly around data. I think a lot of investors think Tesla's just a car company, and therefore the only thing we care about is their gross automotive margins. Who cares about the flywheel of data? Who cares about the demos of people currently using FSD V12 in some parts of San Francisco in particular? Or multi-deca-minute drives, 10, 20, 30-minute drives with literally zero interventions? Who cares about that? That's not a sign that we're on the cusp of solving autonomy. Much more important to just be focused on the short-term gross automotive margins, except not even focus on that, because when they go up, suddenly, who cares? Because Tesla didn't give us guidance for 2024. Oh, fuck, I love this, guys. You have no idea. I mean, this is just so delicious. I thought I would be paying, just based on the odds, right? I thought, statistically speaking, if I had to bet, I thought I'd probably be paying, give or take, maybe around $500 a share for Tesla as I record this. Currently buying it for well under half that. Still got a long way to get to my goal of owning 0.001% of the company. I'm certainly glad my money is going a lot further than I would have expected. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.